Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Jones. If you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and we are starting this month off with the question and prompt series for the month of July, and this is going to be the first question. So if you are unfamiliar with this series, what I like to do each week is I like to present a question/prompt to you in the community, and we answer it down in the comment section down below. And at the end of the month, we do a live stream giveaway where we're going to be giving away things from people who are commenting down below, but also people who are joining in the live stream and interacting that way. So that being said, let's talk about the question/prompt that we're going to be talking about today, and that is literary adaptations. So I have a little bit of a caveat. I'm talking about literary adaptations as you've read and watched, so you can talk about both. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. So I want to highlight three things that I want to cover. Now, I have a lot of honorable mentions that I'm just going to speed run through, but I talk about them quite a bit, and so that's the reason why I'm not going to be talking about them today. But these are some of my favorite adaptations. Of course, we have Princess Bride, which is an amazing movie and amazing book. A lot of meta stuff going on in that book. And of course, Watership Down, which is one of my favorite movies, animated movies of all time. And it's a fantastic book. This is actually how I, started off. I read it first. And of course, we have the legendary fantasy trilogy right here, The Lord of the Rings, right? Of course, these are, right as they came out, these are the books that I have. So I've had these for a long, long time. And then, of course, I want to briefly mention some of the things that I, went through in junior high and high school. So Fahrenheit 451, Of Mice and Men, To Kill a Mockingbird, which I don't have the book with me, but man, incredible choices, right? So that being said, I want to cover 3 books and then 3 film/TV series that I want to cover and talk about kind of my choices here. I have 3 choices, so I had a lot of honorable mentions, but let's jump into the books and the movies. And first up, Call Me by Your Name. I've watched this film probably around 10 times, and I love it every minute, and it still makes me cry. It is such a warm film, but also such like a painful story as well. But after I watched it maybe 4 or 5 times, I decided to finally read the book. And oh my gosh, these are really close to each other. Obviously, there's a little bit of differences. That's exactly what that's what adaptations are, right? But Luca Guadagnino did a really fantastic job working with Andre Ackerman. I don't know how to say his name, Ackerman. But my gosh, I love both versions. I love the book itself, and I like the cover, the original cover, which is kind of the original cover of this film, the movie poster. But I really enjoy Call Me by Your Name. I think it's a really great coming of age story, coming of age romance as well. But some things just don't turn out right, but you learn a lot from it. So that's exactly what Call Me by Your Name is. And so check out both. It's a really quick read too. It's not that long at all. So if you can get a chance, I highly recommend checking out both of these things. And the 4K's out, which is in that great box set over there. Next, I want to talk about a science fiction film that I really adore, that I, once again, just like Call Me by Your Name, I was able to watch it and then read it. I'm talking about Annihilation. So Alex Garland did the adaptation of Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation, which is actually a trilogy, which we'll talk about just briefly. But Annihilation, I had seen this in theaters. It blew my socks off because I was so nervous watching it because there's so much tension going on in the film, and it's just a really beautifully made film. And then also just the acting and the cinematography, and then just like the world itself is just phenomenal. But so that's the movie. But the book is fairly different. I love the way it writes too. It's definitely kind of more journal-based, kind of going back and forth in time and thinking about like where events started and where they ended. There's a couple character changes as well, but at the end of the day, I really liked the direction of Annihilation and the book itself, and where it would lead into the next the things in the trilogy. So I definitely recommend checking out the trilogy because they're all very, very different. Obviously, Annihilation was just the first adaptation of the book, and they kind of just made this as a bookend movie. But I really love the Southern Reach trilogy from Jeff Vandermeer, and I highly recommend it. So if you like science fiction and horror and mystery and intrigue and really good character writing, definitely check out Annihilation. It's trippy as hell, and check out the film too because it'll blow your socks off. And then the final adaptation I want to talk about is a book right here by Dan Simmons, The Terror, that turned into a television series right here. And they're fairly different, and the way that a lot of horror and things are set up, but more or less it's about the HMS Terror and I can't remember the other HMS, but the two last Arctic expeditions trying to go through the ice actually got lost. This is actually not like historical fiction, because there's actually a lot of history involved in this, and then it turns into something a lot different from that, and becomes something otherworldly, which I really, really love. And I think they did a really fantastic job in both adaptations of this. Obviously, the book came out first and is very different, and it's a thick tome, but it's really worth your time. And so is the show. The show is really fantastic. Once again, I watched the show first and then jumped into the book, but I love both and I adore both, and highly recommend checking the Terror out as a series and then also reading the book. But I really enjoyed both, and I enjoyed all of these books and these TV and movies that I talked about. But what about you? Let me know in the comment section down below. What are some of your favorite adaptations that you've read and seen? And let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to know that, and then we'll add them all up at the end of the month and do our live stream giveaway. So I want to say thank you so much for checking this video out. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a comment, share, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.